Shabbat Shalom. Well, I hope this recording finds you well. I gotta say, it was such a powerful moment to see so many of you at our house last week, last Shabbat, lighting candles together and saying the blessings over the wine and the challah. It, for me, truly felt like being together again in community. So I really look forward to welcoming you into our home again next week on Thursday at 6 p.m. for our community Passover. We have sent several emails with a ton of information already, but there will be obviously more reminders coming your way this upcoming week. So please make sure you read all communication, as it will have all you need to know to participate Thursday night. Now, as you can see, I have my candles ready. I'm going to invite you to pause this recording to bring out your candlesticks and be ready to light your Shabbat candles with me. So go ahead, pause. I'll be waiting for you. So this week's Shabbat service recording, since now the musicians and I are no longer able to get together, is, as you will see, kind of a hybrid of recordings of myself in my house and music that we were able to record together a few weeks ago. And all of that will be interspersed with cut out parts of other Shabbat services from months back. And Dianna Rose, our amazing music director, is the magician behind the scene that wove it all together in this remarkable offering of this Shabbat recording for all of us. So we hope you enjoy it and that it allows you to step into a Shabbat space that all of us need deeply right now. So you'll see in my talk later on, it seems that I unknowingly have retraced the saying of Rabbi Hillel. You know, the saying that says, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? But I realized after this week's recording of my talk that I retraced that very famous saying backwards. 2 weeks ago, my talk was essentially about, if I'm only for myself, what am I? A talk where I invited all of us to take a stand for each other, to practice acts of loving kindness, gemilut chasadim, by sheltering in place already. To do so continues to be an act that saves lives. And if you must venture outside, I urge you to be a loud voice for imposing the 6 feet of social distancing around you. But now that we are all sheltering in place, it seems that today's talk is all about Hillel's first part of the saying, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? This Shabbat, I invite you, since we're all confined to our homes, not to see your home as a prison, but instead as a temple. And to see yourself not as a victim of our shared circumstances, but as a priest or a priestess in the temple of your home. A meditation practitioner enrolled, in fact, in this multi-week long meditation retreat at your home temple. And in doing so, to nurture yourself, to find practices to promote your mental well-being and work on beautifying this home temple you inhabit. Consciousness is changing. Consciousness is evolving all around us. A great light has the potential to be born from this darkness. That light is the light of Shabbat, the light of expanded consciousness that I am kindling with you right now. So if you have downloaded Bet Alepph's Kabbalat Shabbat prayer book, we are, as we always are, on page 1 in your prayer book. Some of you have had the chance to email the office and let us know what, if we were together, you would be kindling a Shabbat candle for. So I have the list right here with me. And those candles that I have lit, that hopefully you also have lit in your home, they are dedicated to the people who have sent us what they would have kindled them for had we met together. Emily Majors. Emily is lighting a candle in celebration of her recent conversion to Judaism and becoming a member of the tribe. Sherry Shmodi. Sherry is lighting a candle in memory of her father, Raymond Shmodi, as this would be the Shabbat of his yahrzeit. Elizabeth Heath is lighting a candle tonight in honor and memory of her sister, Mary Wilson's yahrzeit, that is coming up on April 5th. Gerardo Ojeda Ebert and Hannah Nerbovig are lighting a candle tonight in memory of their nephew, Daniel Valentin Ebert, on his yahrzeit. And as I always invite you to do every Shabbat, as you have kindled your Shabbat candles, to look within and to dedicate your candle to the energies you are celebrating, the energies you are honoring, the energies that you are blessing right now in this moment. As always, we cover our eyes as we recite together the blessing for our Shabbat candles, the blessing for the light of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. And we continue from our blessing of the light of Shabbat to one of my favorite songs, inviting all the angels of Shabbat into your home, into your space, into my home, into my space, and into the space that connects us, the space in between. The next is Angel Song, the angel blessing, which if you have your prayer book, I'll tell you right now, if we have it, it is on top of page 17, the angel blessing.
Please rise for the Baruch Hu. We say together, Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Bless the Eternal, the one who is blessing. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Blessed is the Eternal, the one who is blessing eternally. Page 6, we say together the 6 words of the Shema, the 6 words that are the central affirmation, the mantra, the meditative mantra of our tradition. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, Israel. The Eternal manifests as all that is. The Eternal is one. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is the name. The splendor of its presence shines eternally. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai continue at the bottom of the page with a Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וכשבתם לראות עיניך והיו לטוטפות עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני Adonai Elohim.
I just love the Veshamro. The words of this version are Veshamro Bnei Israel et Shabbat. The children of Israel will guard the Shabbat, will keep the Shabbat, but in the sense of guarding, of protecting. There is a rabbinic teaching that I particularly connect with that phrase. It comes from the Ten Commandments. And there seemed to have been a mistake. You know, the Ten Commandments appear twice in the Torah, one in the book of Exodus and one in the book of Deuteronomy. It looks like there was a mistake because the rabbis see that this is the fourth commandment. The fourth commandment in one part says, Shamru, you shall keep the Shabbat, you shall guard the Shabbat. The next one says, Zachor, remember the Shabbat. And so the rabbis said it's not a mistake. We can only keep Shabbat if we remember. And our remembering helps us guard that precious time for ourselves, that precious moment that we dedicate to ourselves, to our soul, to the inwardness of our being. And that needs to be veshamor, that needs to be guarded, that needs to be fiercely guarded. Because if we let go, if we forget, if we no longer remember the Shabbat, if we collapse completely to the pool of distraction, the busyness of our everyday life, and can never carve time for ourselves, for our soul, then according to our tradition and according to all spiritual traditions, we are lost. We need to guard the precious gift that Shabbat is, that we might remember its purpose, its reason for being. And its reason for being, paradoxically, is also to guard us. We continue with the Amidah. We are on page 8 in your prayer book. And you are invited to please rise for the Amidah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Ve'Elohei Rachel האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. Please be seated.
So we are now a few weeks into the book of Leviticus. And in this week's Torah portion, Aaron, the brother of Moses and Miriam, Aaron is ordained actually by Moses as the high priest, the one who will, from this day forward, oversee the temple cult. Now, this is the first time that Aaron is gifted the opportunity to wear the priestly garments that have been incredibly beautifully described and carved and made at the end of the book of Exodus. And we saw, as we read those passages, the lengthy details that we were gifted in the understanding of the making of that specific priestly garment that now Aaron is able to put on for the first time. And you feel in the intensity of the scene that moment is a great moment of great joy for the community, and Aaron very emotionally dedicates his life and the life of his sons to the service of the temple, the service of the divine. And there is this intense moment of Aaron and his son being consecrated together with their clothing, being consecrated as deep religious symbols for the community. And it's interesting to me that with this very specific function that the high priest had to perform came a special modality of dress. We see that all over the world, actually. We see that in all religious and spiritual contexts where the leadership, the figures of leadership always are adorned with very special clothing, some very elaborate and some, in fact, extremely simple. You can see the range in that. I remember one of the main scenes in the movie Gandhi, one of my favorite movies, where the Mahatma chose to, in fact, dress very, very modestly. Like he decided that his dress was going to be a single piece of cloth, of white cloth, that in the movie he is described as weaving himself, in fact. But as simple as his clothes was, as this dress was for Mahatma Gandhi, he used it to really communicate a powerful message, both for the people he was supporting and bringing to his cause, but also in the way he connected with, visiting the Queen or the highest powers of the British Empire. And so, even though minimal, his dress also was a purposeful message that was shared through that. Just like Aaron's clothes was purposeful in the message it was delivering to those who came to see him. Now, when the Romans burned our temple to the ground in 70 CE, our surviving rabbis looked to reinvent Judaism away from the temple cults, away from Aaron, at this point, his descendants, and to bring Judaism into all of our homes. And among other things, they created a 3-time daily prayer cycle that aimed at replacing, while mimicking, the sacrificial cult in Jerusalem that also had sacrifices made 3 times a day. Our rabbis also sought to make the Jewish home the replacement for the temple. So we put a mezuzah at our entrance door. And that mezuzah is meant to help us shift our consciousness as we step into our home, to see our home specifically as a sacred space, as a sacred temple. The laws of kashrut, for example, were attached to a deep mindfulness practice, inviting us to consider our dining table as the lost altar of the temple. Now, today, we find ourselves confined to our homes. And it seems that we might still be in for a few weeks. Our homes are our temples. And right now, they are temples inviting us into this gift of a prolonged Shabbat, of a prolonged personal retreat. Now, if you have ever attended a prolonged meditation retreat, for example, you know that very often the participants in the retreat are asked to perform daily chores all around the meditation temple. The daily upkeep of the place, its ordering, its cleanliness are all part of the retreat. They are, in fact, part of the mindfulness meditation practice. So you get to wash the dishes, you get to mop the floors, you get to dust the shelves. People are assigned to rake the garden. But everything is an opportunity to be present to every action, to be present to everything you're doing, to be centered. Right? It's bringing you to the realization that nothing is really a chore. Or if you live in a temple, all that surrounds you in that temple are the sacred objects of the cult. Nothing is really a chore. Everything is practice. So like Aaron and his sons wearing the priestly garb in our Torah portion, I've been really aware that if we are to live mindfully in our temple homes, we too might want to practice dressing for the par, dressing every day to live in our temple. And though I'm not leaving my house and not going anywhere, and probably won't be able to do that anytime soon, I have really made a practice every morning to get myself ready as if I was. To get myself ready as if I was, in fact, about to drive to work. And I'll be honest with you, doing so really has shifted my consciousness. I mean, it's helped me relate to my day very differently. You know, I wear these clothes and suddenly I feel more energized. I feel more productive. I'm more involved with all that I have to do. And I believe that the psychological impact of simply dressing up, of wearing everyday street clothes, is a critical piece of our mental well-being. I mean, there are many reasons for that, but for me, one of them is that it affirms our purpose. Just like Aaron's priestly attire affirmed his purpose. So it really doesn't matter what your life context may be. All of us can live lives on purpose, day in and day out. It helps us realize that life doesn't happen to us. Life happens with us. We need to think of our current situation, in fact, in taking the long view. We need to be able to think of it not in just a few months, but perhaps in many months. And to really reorder our lives around that long-term perspective. And the good news, if we do that, is that we might be pleasantly surprised. In a few weeks, a few months, to be told that things have turned around and we can go back to normal. But if we're going to take the long view, as I believe we should, then we need to start thinking about our everyday life a little bit differently. Our everyday moments to being in our temple as an opportunity to be fully productive and alive in those moments. And dressing up, at least for me, is very helpful. So let me close by saying a couple of things. Our voluntary confinement is what we are doing for each other. I mentioned that in my talk a couple of weeks ago. It is our act of gemilut chasadim, our acts of loving kindness. But as Hillel said, we also need to be for ourselves, nurturing ourselves, caring for our mental health, wearing our priestly garments, whatever that means for you, beautifying our temple around, taking care of our surroundings, raking our own garden. All of that will make us more resilient. All of that will make us more able to weather the storm that has now engulfed all of us. And it's little things. Little things as tending our garden, just as we are tending the garden of our heart and wearing our clothes. So this is an invitation to perhaps shift our consciousness. To shift our consciousness in thinking of every day as an opportunity for mindful practice. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Amen. And we continue with a few moments of meditation. And I invite you to find a comfortable sitting position. To make sure if you are sitting on a chair that your feet touch the ground firmly and that your back remains straight. And to begin gently by finding your breath. Finding your center. Letting go of any tension you might find anywhere in the body, but specifically tension in our belly, tension on our face. What if this time that we are gifted was an opportunity to expand our consciousness. What if this extended period of time that we are gifted could be a container for personal growth, for healing, for wholing? What would it look like if we were able to step into this moment in history, and this moment-to-moment experience of our day-to-day life with greater equanimity? What would that look like if we could face each moment with such equanimity? What if we could know, truly know, deeply know that we are not victims of our circumstances? That right now each of us can be radically present to what is right now. Aware of this breath, aware of the beating of my heart, aware of the space I inhabit. What if in this moment there was nothing to want? Nothing that we wish was any different than it is. What if we could meet today, tomorrow, next week, next month, without resisting, without denying, without rejecting, without fighting reality? How would we find ourselves better able to channel our deepest creativity to make each day count? What if we could see, understand the walls of our homes to be the structure of our temple? This long retreat, this long meditation retreat can be also a long healing retreat. A retreat for personal development, personal healing. A retreat to nurture our relationships, to nurture and perhaps even heal our relationship with those who live under the roof, under the shared roof of our temple, but also with those who might live across the street or across town, even perhaps those across the nation, and for some of us, even across the planet. What if we could take this elongated meditation retreat, or just retreat, as an opportunity to reach out, to connect or reconnect, how would living through these moments in our life, these moments really in history, how would they look like day after day if we could step into them with a sense of purpose, with kavanah, with intentionality? That they might not go to waste by our yielding to distraction, even though a little distraction is good from time to time. But that we might use this time for construction, for building or rebuilding. This is our chance to face each day with great equanimity, to face each day with an open heart, but also with great determination to meet each moment with purpose, to meet each moment mindfully. May the days ahead be days of expanded harmony, of our practicing inner peace, as well as contributing to outer peace. May they be days for greater wholeness, for greater shalom. We let the energies of our Shalom chant reach beyond the walls of our temple and reverberates through the streets of our neighborhood, of our community, of our city, reaching even further, sending energies of peace and harmony throughout the land, throughout the earth. And may those energies of wholeness find as well those we know to be in need of healing. Those who are today struggling with taking the next breath under a ventilator in a hospital anywhere in this nation, we think of them. We send them energies of healing. Those across our nation and those across the world, struggling to draw their next breath. On this Shabbat, we also hold in energies of healing those you have inscribed on our community healing list. מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, מי שברך אמותינו, שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל. הוא יברך וירפא. At Craig Wilson, Daniel Clark, Hillary Wilson, Phyllis and Mike Levin, Farhan Hassan, Yitzhak Leib, Ben Bertha ve'Aharon, Dave Malka, Maxwell Bernard, Susan Davis, David Mark, Rebecca Risman, Mi Lagerberg, Richard Aharon BenHaim, Pat Hoagland, Hirsch Simon, Brooke Hamilton, Dr. Gladys McGarry, Rivka Bat Reuven Miriam, Michael Standish, Chuck Bulch, Eldon Olson, Susan Austin, Linda Morris, Elizabeth Heath, and Judy Robertson. ימלא רחמים עליהם לחזקם ולרפאתם ברפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף. And we hold in our hearts the names of those we know to be in need of healing this Shabbat, as we share together with them our healing song. So we continue with the Aleinu. The Aleinu, if you have the Bet Aleph prayer book, is on page 12. And I would usually rise and open the ark so that we would all face the Torah as we share together in that prayer. Obviously, these are different circumstances. So what I've done instead is that I have brought the Torah to us, so that wherever you are in your house and sharing the Aleinu with me, you can be facing the Torah herself. So join me. We are the ones given this way of praising the Holy One of all being, that we might understand and express the greatness of the one who shapes all creation, We celebrate our uniqueness and that of others, and seek to discover the wonder that we are. Therefore, we would bend the knees, we would bow, and we would proclaim our gratitude before the ruler of all rulers, the Holy One of all being. As it is said, then we shall truly realize the Eternal One as universal being. And on that day, the unity of being shall be celebrated by all. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד. So I will just put the Torah right next to me. And we continue on page 13 with the Mourner's Kaddish. And as always, as we reach that time in our Shabbat service, I would ask you to close your eyes perhaps for a moment and reconnect with the memory of those who have spent some of their journey on this plane of existence with you. Those with whom you have shared moments of great joy, but also those who have shared with you moments of darkness, as well as moments of great joy and light. When we hold those who have journeyed with us in light of memory, we seek to reconnect with energies of compassion, energies of acceptance, ultimately energies of love. On this Shabbat, we hold light in memory with those who have made their transition in recent days and weeks. Charlotte Klein, Sterling Claren's aunt, Alberta Hitzrath, Stephanie Hitzrath's mother-in-law. On this Shabbat, we also hold in light of memory those who have made their transition this past year. Carl Heller, Demetrius Oliver Sullivan, Anne Koloff Klein, Justina Lamphere, Farron Rebecca Loeb, Eva Ruth Ansel, Scott Busby, Larry Lactrup, Angela Babu, Barbara Bell, Robert Paul Litz, Patricia Dohoney, Lori Scooge, Kenneth Klein, Al Kalish, Marty Leeser, Becky Ben, Martin Amadeus Russert, Don Krupkin, Pamela Mary Bolch, Emma Norton, John Philip Bolch, Teddy Freeman, Virginia Calvo, Marsha Jaffe, Lawton Wapples, Millard Petersky, Deborah Batts, Marian Marika Gordon, Stella Altwies, Mary Rose, Dan Klein, and Eleanor Gerber. We also hold in light of memory those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing, happens to coincide with this Shabbat. Daniel Valentin Ebert, Julian Samuel Ansel, Raymond Schmody, Robert Kenny, Mary Wilson. And you can name out loud the names of those you remember on this Shabbat before we share together in the Mourner's Kaddish. And please join me. יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון וביום חון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דאמירן בעלמא. ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה. הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ועל כל יושבי תבל. ואמרו אמן. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all of the household of Israel, and for all the peoples of the world. And let us say, Amen. Holy One of Being, help us to know your presence in every moment of our life, in our hearts, in our soul, but also in our homes. Help us to transform the spaces we inhabit into temples, temples within temples within temples, to know ourselves to be the spiritual beings that are but an expression of your being, Holy One. That we might be strengthened in these days, knowing that though isolated, we are not alone, that we are here for one another, that we will use all means at our disposal to connect with one another, to let each other know that we are here for one another. And that we'll get through this moment, however difficult it is and might even become, together. Ken Yehi Ratzon. You are in my heart every day. You are in my prayers always. Be well. Please stay home. Stay healthy. And let us together continue to be a force for good, a force for healing in this world. I hope we can hug each other once again very, very soon. But in the meantime, feel, please, my energy in me hugging you right now, because I am. Shabbat Shalom. Take care.